Make sure to listen to this recording in the most comfortable location and position that you can. You may choose to use headphones or just listen in a quiet place. Allow your body to relax and your mind will follow along. You will be entering into a hypnotic or trance-like state. You will remain aware in the deep background of your mind, so there is no need to fear any loss of control, being manipulated, or doing anything that you do not want to do. Be okay with the images and scenery that appear. You experience trance states regularly throughout your day, like when you daydream or drift in thought. This is a natural way for the mind to rest, and meanwhile, your subconscious mind will attempt to organize itself, clearing out the ideas and thoughts that are no longer beneficial for you, and holding on to the images and impressions that you need to keep yourself moving forward in your natural path of evolution. Listen to this recording daily for optimum success. If you have limited time, then listen every second day. Doing this for 21 days in a row will help to bring you profound results and will probably change your life forever. Please never listen to this while you are handling machinery or driving a vehicle. Refrain from listening while under the influence of drugs, medications, or alcohol. If you happen to suffer from epilepsy or a psychiatric condition, please consult your physician before proceeding. So, let's start with a question. How do millionaires think? Are their thoughts differently from less wealthy people's? Do their thoughts make any difference to their fortunes? In this program, you will learn some secrets about the way some millionaires think, how they regard wealth, and the kind of thinking patterns that have helped to keep them wealthy, or in some cases, to regenerate wealth after they lost their fortunes. Of course, we don't know the private thoughts of any individual millionaires, but we know many of the things they have said and done, and we have many of their life stories on record. Probably the most famous and complete study ever undertaken about how to think like a millionaire is Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read it, now is the time. The book has never been out of print and it's heading for its 100th birthday. It was first published in 1937. From our perspective in this program, it's worth noting that Napoleon Hill was perhaps the first person to put thinking together with the notion of growing rich. The very title of his book implies that there is a way to think that will make you rich, and many people have proved him right. It is also worth recounting a little of the story of Henry Ford here. In Ford's day, transport was still mostly horse-drawn. Ford saw the possibility of mass-producing the motor car, and when he suggested the idea, he was considered crazy by almost everyone, including the members of his family and his financial backers. And that is not really the best group of people to have against your idea. But he went on to not only mass-produce cars, as we all know, but also he was the first person to create a factory production line. He famously said in the face of all that opposition, "Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right." In other words, it's the strength of your belief that will determine the outcome you get. That's a powerful idea. Let's break that down for a moment. Do you want to be a millionaire? Presumably the answer to that is yes or close to yes, otherwise it's unlikely you'd be listening to this. The next question is, do you believe you can become a millionaire? Whatever your answer to that may be, don't worry. We're going to ensure you can and do believe it before we're done today. Henry Ford knew what he wanted to achieve. He powerfully visualized car factories and customers for his cars. He didn't imagine millions in the bank. That came as a result of his thoughts, not the other way around. There are numerous books that suggest you should imagine a large amount of money in your bank account, but we're not going to suggest that to you. Imagining a number, even a large one, carries no emotion. You can't get excited or passionate about a number. Without question, your ability to imagine is your most powerful tool in acquiring wealth. And what you need to imagine is the life and lifestyle that wealth will bring you, and the money will then follow. Don't imagine the mortgage being paid off. That's boring. Imagine how you will spend all the extra money you'll have available once it is. And above all, imagine enjoying your new freedom. There is one more important point to make before taking you through a powerful wealth magnetizing process, and that is, no matter where you are now, be grateful for it. I wish you a pleasant journey into your inner space, and I know that you will have a far greater calm and understanding once you have finished this session. You must now find a comfortable position. You can choose to sit back comfortably in a chair or on a sofa, in a recliner or on a bed. Once you have adjusted any restrictions in your clothing and settled into your spot, you can begin to accept the idea of letting go. You are ready now to understand just how easy it can be to be more wealthy and to think like a millionaire. You can begin to allow yourself the permission to enter into a hypnotic state. In fact, go ahead and tell yourself that you are giving yourself full permission to let go, knowing how great it is to think like a millionaire and know you are becoming more wealthy. In your mind or even out loud, tell yourself, you are safe. You are eager to travel to the depths of your unconscious mind, to discover the relaxed, confident, wealthy thinking person that's inside. It is important that you believe yourself, that you trust yourself. This moment calls for self-love and trust. Your ability to generate and attract wealth is beginning to increase already as your eyes begin to softly close. I want you to take a deep, slow breath in. And now release the breath. That's good. Notice the quality of your breath. Does the breath flow into your chest or deeper into your belly? Pay attention to the next few breaths and make sure to follow them right down to your belly. Feel your belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Be open to the idea that you can be more wealthy by changing how you feel and think about money, just as easily as you can allow your breath to go in and out. As you begin to deepen into this trance, it is necessary that you release any tensions in your body. Starting at your right foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the right leg to the knee, just relaxing. And continue up until you're at the hip. Now do the same for the left leg. Starting at your left foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the left leg to the knee. And continue on until you're at the hip, just relaxing. Clear any tension in your hips. Let go of your deepest pelvic muscles. You may be clenching tightly and you don't even know it, so just let go. Continue to feel the rise and fall of your belly, and let the heaviness of your arms and shoulders sink down and melt away. Feel the openness in the palms of your hands. Feel the expansive breath in your chest and abdomen. Open your jaw to stretch it and then release it. Let your eyes sink into your head until they are floating peacefully. Feel the tingling of the hair on your head and the lightness of the air around your face. You are ready now to move deeper inside, to release your inner you, who is relaxed, uninhibited, and assertive, ready to be more wealthy and think like a millionaire. I will ask you to open your eyes one more time in a moment, and when you close them again, you will sink into a wonderful floating softness, and you will be ready to take a journey. Okay, open your eyes slightly on your next inhale. Now close them on the exhale and step securely into the most relaxed state of awareness you can imagine. To help you relax deeper, I will lead you on a journey. Listen to the sound of my voice. Listen. Deep down inside. Of course you are. If you feel yourself drifting away at any time, just focus on the sound and vibration of my voice as they enter into your ears. You are doing so well already. You are beginning to feel more like a successful, wealthy person, and at the same time to relax more with every breath you take. Picture yourself standing in front of an elevator. The doors of the elevator open and you look inside. You see that there are 4 buttons, all leading down to lower floors. Each one of these floors will take you to a level deeper into your unconscious mind. Reach out and push the button that will take you down, and watch as the doors close. You feel the elevator moving Take a good look around. This is your elevator, and you can see whatever you wish to see. What textures or patterns are the walls made of? How is the quality of the lighting? Can you hear any music playing? Maybe there is a mirror on the wall, a full-length mirror. Who's that person standing there? They look so confident, so ready for action, so wealthy. Oh yes, it's you. This is sometimes how others see you. Strong and confident. A voice announces your arrival. You have reached the first lower level. Take a deep breath in and watch the doors open. You see a room filled with colour. These are colours that you associate with wealth, with millionaire status. These are strong colours, walls, furniture, strong colours. Not everyone likes red. Some like blue or green or brown or whatever colour you prefer. The sight of the room makes you glad to be wealthy. The colour makes you feel strong and confident, wealthy and competent, raring to go and powerful. But you know that this is not the room where you will stop. So you push the button to go down to the second lower level. As the doors close, take another deep breath in. Feel the downward movement of the elevator. Feel yourself sinking deeper into your trance. When you arrive at the second lower floor, the doors open. In front of you is another room. Movies are playing on screens that are placed around the room. These movies show you scenes of wealthy, successful individuals that you admire. Either sex, I'm not fussy. Take a moment to see what movies are playing. Who can you see on the big screen? Which lead, which hero or heroine inspires you the most? Just enjoy watching for a while, knowing that this is how others could see you when you use your millionaire thinking to good effect. There are also scenes playing of certain moments in your own life when you felt more successful and wealthy. Take a moment and remember. This room makes you feel more successful and wealthy, worthy of millionaire status, confident. You feel that you are fully prepared to live as a confident individual and wealthy and proud of it. Why not? You press the button for the third lower level and the doors close. As you go down to the third floor, you feel a sense of weightlessness coming over your body. You know full well that you are heading into the furthest depths of your unconscious. Don't you? When the elevator stops, you watch for the doors to open. As you wait for the doors to open, you wonder what you will see. You can already sense the millionaire mentality growing inside, can't you? The doors roll back to reveal a room. The room is completely black and empty. This is the room where you can erase any negative beliefs about yourself. You can leave them all here. This room will absorb all the misinformation you've received from others about what it means to be more wealthy and how millionaires should act. You see, You may have been taught ideas and impressions, really, that are false. You can choose to change this now or change it later. Your impressions about wealth have been shaped by your parents, by your culture, and by your social interactions throughout your life. This black room will gladly accept all of your misconceptions so that you can let go of every last one. Let the room drain all the things you no longer need from you so that these ideas won't weigh you down or get in the way of stronger, healthier impressions about wealth and success, and how thinking like a millionaire should be part of who you are. Take a moment and stare into the blackness of the room. As you do, try to allow your subconscious mind to completely release. Take your time and stare into the blackness. You press the button that will take you to the bottom floor. You know when you reach the bottom, you will be completely immersed in your subconscious. The doors close and the elevator moves. You take a deep breath in and you sigh as you exhale. The elevator stops and you are anticipating what you will find. You are ready to make great discoveries in this room, aren't you? The doors open to reveal a completely white room. You know instantly that this room is free from limitations. You know that this is a room that is special, full of possibilities, aren't you? This room represents the space in your mind where all things are possible. This room is the clean slate on which you will write your future. A future in which you have already attained the wealth you desire, where you are living with the wonderful changes that have resulted from your efforts to think like a millionaire. As you step into the room and leave the elevator, you are stepping fully and completely into trance, fully and completely into your subconscious mind. Take a moment and allow the room to settle around you. Allow yourself to settle within the room. Feel the depth of your trance. One of the issues facing people when they try to imagine themselves having a lot of money is that money is abstract. Do you really know what £1 million or dollars could buy? How about 10 million or 100 million? A few years ago, a man won £11 million in the UK lottery. After his win, he took his family and all 12 of his employees to a Caribbean island for a month, all expenses paid. At the end of the month, he and his wife were interviewed in the lobby of their hotel. They were asked how they enjoyed being wealthy. The man's wife said that it had been lovely, but now she was preparing to go back to normal. She assumed they'd spent their winnings. When her husband pointed out to her that they had only spent a few days' interest on the money, she was dumbfounded. "You mean we're still rich?" she asked. There is a very wealthy man called Dr. Joe Vitale, who was once homeless and living on the streets of Dallas. He spent many days in the library reading self-improvement books, and one after another had a message about being grateful for what you have. Joe thought that would all be very well if he had something, but he was on his uppers. One day, he found a pencil in the street. He picked it up and remembered the message about being grateful. He was cynical to start with, thinking of it as just a stick. His next thought was negative too, as he contemplated writing his suicide note with it. Then he realized that if he could write that, he could also write a love letter, or a novel, or anything. And then he looked at the other end of the pencil and spotted the eraser, which made him realize that he could also rub out his suicide note, or correct or change anything that he wrote that he didn't like. He began to feel the power of the pencil and to feel extremely grateful to whoever had invented this clever tool. And he wept with gratitude. Right now, you probably have a lot more than Joe had. At the very least, you have air to breathe, and a smile you can give to others, and the ability to listen to these words. Start with those things and notice how grateful you are for everything in your life. Now, as you relax, you can allow yourself to know what you would like to begin, to think about imagining, as you contemplate being very, very, very wealthy. As you run through your day as a millionaire, feel each moment. Feel the luxury. You can even smell luxury, so use every sense. And you can imagine waking on your first day as a millionaire. What is your bed like? Where do you wake? See the details. Feel the excitement. Bring the colours of the experience to life. Make that image three-dimensional. How are you going to spend your first day as a wealthy person? Before you get out of that bed, allow yourself a moment. Take several moments. You can afford to. And feel the excitement of the day to come. Doing things you love. Those things you're passionate about. Feel it. Enjoy it. Let yourself begin this new day, this new way, getting out of that bed as your new life begins. Imagine you are shopping for something you've always wanted, but never had the money before. It could be anything. Jewellery, high fashion clothing, a car, a business. Take yourself there. See the transaction. Your credit card will pay for it in full. Just take it away with you. Notice how this feels as you contemplate and imagine and visualize yourself as a millionaire. How are you dressed? What help do you have? And check inside. Are there any negative thoughts? Any resistance? Those are easily dealt with now. Give that voice some space just for a moment. Hear it telling you its message. Those will be old habitual thoughts about you, your self-worth, not believing in yourself, and that's okay. Let them come. You can deal with those things so easily now. Notice the tone of the voice of those thoughts and soften it. Let it speak to you in a suggestive way, in a sexy way. That can seem silly. Notice how that changes the way it feels when you hear it. And already you aren't taking notice of those words in the same way. Because when someone speaks in a sexy way or a funny way, it triggers so many different responses. And you can turn down the volume of that voice to a whisper, fading, fading, until it's so faint, then gone. There is nothing in your way. You can create your vision of the future you desire, allowing yourself to revisit these thoughts and these imaginations often. Imagination is so powerful. Without imagination, there would be no Mickey Mouse, no Disney World. Without imagination, there would be no computers. In fact, without imagination, we would all still be living in caves. The power of imagination, combined with strong belief in yourself and your ability, leads to action that will change your life and even the world. It is that way round, not the other way. You will act on what you feel and what you strongly believe, and today you feel so good about you being wealthy. You have felt grateful for where you are now, and you faded to nothing all the resistance to that happening. You have millionaire thoughts and a millionaire mindset. And all you need to do is listen to this often until it becomes your habit to believe in your wealth and your worthiness to be wealthy, and watch as the transformation will happen all by itself, in its own time. Enjoy the money. As you get ready now to re-enter the present moment, you will be bringing with you the belief and the knowledge that you have obtained. You are ready to live as a confident, wealthy individual, secure in yourself. You must now come back into your physical body and into this moment. And in your physical body, you will be ready and strong and still thinking like a millionaire. You are once again standing in the white room and you are facing the elevator. You step into the elevator as the doors open. You push the button that will take you back up to the ground floor. As the doors close, you feel yourself beginning to rise. You know that when you reach the top floor, you will be alert and aware. You arrive at the next floor above you. When the doors open, you see the black room. This blackness has absorbed all your negative memories and impressions about wealth and success are. Wave goodbye to everything you've left behind you that no longer serves you. Take a deep breath in, and as you let your breath out, the doors close and you continue climbing up. The bell sounds again as you arrive at the next floor and the doors open. The movie scenes that are playing on the walls show you living your life like a millionaire. The doors close and you're heading to the next level. When the doors open, you see the colours of wealth. Notice these colours have changed from the first time you saw them. Your new impressions of how to think like a millionaire have changed the colours through which you see yourself and the world around you, and you feel yourself ready to leave this trance. You take another deep breath in and prepare yourself to wake. Only one floor to go now. As the elevator reaches its final destination, breathe in and breathe out. In front of you the doors open, and as they do, open your eyes as well. Take a moment to allow the physical and emotional aspects of this experience to sink in. Thank you for listening. Please return to this recording daily or as often as you feel necessary. It will continue to support you on an ongoing basis, and repetition will reap reward. It was carefully crafted to help you move deeper into your own self and to begin to shed light on the issues you are facing. This is not meant to be a substitute for counselling or professional help, but rather a companion that is ready to support you whenever you feel you need it. I would like to commend you for taking a step today toward change. You have made a brave choice, and you will be rewarded with greater insight as a result. Please make time in your daily life for reflection and contemplation. If you don't give yourself time and space to grow and mature as an introspective human being, then you are sure to remain in the habits and patterns that have led you toward finding assistance in this hypnosis and NLP session. Let this audio program be a tool in your toolbox, and also collect other tools that will assist you, such as affirmations, positive people around you, healthy eating and living, and stress-reducing exercises like massage, meditation, nature walks, Tai Chi or yoga. You have now decided to take your prosperity back into your own hands. Congratulations! Make sure to listen to this program in the most comfortable location and position that you can. You may choose to use headphones or just listen in a quiet place. Allow your body to relax and your mind will follow along. You will be entering into a hypnotic or trance-like state. You will remain aware in the deep background of your mind, so there is no need to fear any loss of control, being manipulated, or doing anything that you do not want to do. Be okay with the images and scenery that appear. You already experience trance states regularly throughout your day, such as when you daydream or drift in thought, for example. They are simply a natural way for the mind to rest. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind will attempt to organise itself, clearing out the ideas and thoughts that are no longer beneficial for you and holding on to those images and impressions that you need to keep yourself moving forward in your natural path of progression. Listen to this recording daily for optimum success. If you have limited time, then listen every second day. Doing this for 21 days in a row will help to bring you profound results and will probably change your life forever. Please never listen to this while you are handling machinery or driving a vehicle. Refrain from listening while under the influence of drugs, medications, or alcohol. And if you happen to suffer from epilepsy or a psychiatric condition, please consult your physician before proceeding. I wish you a pleasant journey into your inner space, and I know that you will have a far greater calm and understanding once you have finished this session. Have you ever wondered why money is sometimes referred to as currency? That word comes from the same root as current, as in the current of electricity or the current of a river. It's all to do with flow and fluidity. If money didn't move around, it would be completely useless if you think about it. Trillions of units of currency are moved around all over the planet every day. Money changes hands because the people giving it believe they're getting something of value from the people who receive it from them. How many tokens of currency is entirely dependent on a tacit agreement that such value is more or less right, which in turn is decided by something that economists call market forces. Even stranger, the value of stocks and shares in everything from individual companies to entire nations rise and fall daily based on a concept that the experts call confidence. A lot of confidence in the market means that prices will rise. But when confidence begins to wane, the price will fall again. Of course, I know you didn't come here for a talk on economics. You just want to attract more wealth into your life. But I've taken this approach because I want you to first know the nature of what you intend to attract. Grab a bag full of coins and notes and you can certainly count it. And when you have counted it, you'll be able to say precisely how many of the currency tokens you have. They could of course be any currency, but let's say they're British pounds and you find you have 1,000 of them. Now, the value of that £1,000 will depend upon when you counted it. 50 or so years ago, you could have bought a small house in England for that number of money tokens, and probably still have had a fair bit left over. Certainly you could have bought a very nice car. The exact same number of pounds will buy far less today, as you know. Many people's monthly mortgage payment is more than that, and they have to pay that mortgage for 30 years or more. But that mortgage might be for the exact same house that could have been bought outright for the same price as a modern single mortgage repayment. Let's suppose that, apart from a bit of modernisation and decoration, the house hasn't significantly changed in 50 years. So what makes it thousands of times more valuable today than it was half a century ago? Nothing. It's just thoughts in people's minds about what they perceive things to be worth. And worth is something subtly different. You can no more bring home a bag full of worth or a bag full of value than you could scoop up some confidence and put it into the bank. These are entirely abstract concepts formed in people's minds, and they actually have nothing to do with coins and notes. So now we come to the nitty-gritty. If you want to attract wealth, you are going to have to be seen as a person who provides value, and in whom those with the money you intend to attract have confidence. That is where money gravitates. It follows the rules of any current. Just as a river will always flow downhill, and electricity flows towards lesser resistance, money flows to where there is perceived value, and to things and people in which there is generally a lot of confidence. So how do you become such a money-attracting person? Well, it's far easier than you think. You have only to tweak your state of mind, and it will all happen for you. Let's take an example. When times are hard, people say they cannot find jobs and they cannot afford luxuries. But when a major pop star goes on tour, the tickets sell out in hours, sometimes minutes. The perceived value in the minds of those ticket holders is that the entertainer will make them feel good for an evening. And the ticket buyers have such confidence that that will be the case, that they become extremely excited by the possibility of even getting a ticket, weeks, sometimes months in advance of the event. They can even feel a trickle of excitement for weeks leading up to the event. They describe this feeling as looking forward to it. Likewise, big sports events and blockbuster movies still earn many millions of pounds, dollars, and all other currencies in between. People pay high prices to feel good. Now, you don't have to be a pop or movie star to attract wealth, but you do need to make people feel good. And that is simply, very simply achieved by feeling good about yourself. You can make people feel good by something you send in an email or write in a blog post. You don't have to meet them or even ever speak to them on the phone. Many people are making fortunes right now with websites that just put up pictures that make people laugh. Someone who is bright and cheerful is going to attract more opportunities than a person who is negative and moaning all the time. Somebody who is confident in themselves and clearly enjoying life is naturally attractive, whereas a person who averts their gaze when they're even paid a compliment is also someone that others shy away from. Nobody wants to embarrass a poor, sensitive person, do they? To attract wealth, all you have to do is become the kind of person that money naturally flows to. There's no technique or ritual to learn. As you become more aware of the wealth of good things in your life and feel the gratitude for them, you will become wealthier. Wealth is attracted to itself. Like attracts like. But that does not mean you need to have a lot of money to attract a lot of money. It just means you need to feel wealthy inside. And you do that by shifting your awareness to what is already good in your life. Even if you do not have a penny to spare, you can still be grateful for the air in your lungs, the sunshine out the window, the flowers that bloom in your garden or public park. You can feel gratitude for your ability to hear and understand these words. You can feel grateful for your education. You can let your mind drift to thoughts of good friends who care about you, and even to animals that love you. And as you shift your thoughts in this way, you may at first notice some resistance. You may find yourself thinking things such as, "What difference will that make?" Or you might have heard that positive thinking just doesn't work. Simply notice such thoughts and let them drift across your mind as fluffy clouds drift across a blue sky on a summer's day, and then watch them evaporate. You are not learning positive thinking. I am not telling you about positive thinking. You are simply learning to control your awareness. Of course, there are some things that you wish to improve in your life, including your financial well-being. But how does worrying or complaining about it improve it? It cannot solve the problem, and such behaviours are only going to be attractive to other people who want to worry or complain along with you. It will not attract opportunities. It will not open your mind to more creative ideas that could bring you riches. It will not endear upbeat people who may wish to employ you or your services, or to pay you for your ideas. Attracting wealth is really just a matter of changing your mind, a matter of shifting your focus, like this. You must now find a comfortable position. You can choose to sit back comfortably in a chair, or on a sofa, in a recliner, or on a bed. Once you have adjusted any restrictions in your clothing and settled into your spot, you can begin to accept the idea of letting go. You are ready now to understand just how easy it can be to let go and let the wealth come to you. You can begin to allow yourself the permission to enter into a hypnotic state. In fact, go ahead. Tell yourself you are giving yourself full permission to let go, knowing how much better you will feel if you feel as wealthy as you need for all your ideas, aspirations and plans. In your mind, or even out loud, tell yourself, you are safe. You are eager to travel to the depths of your unconscious mind, to discover the confident, wealthy person inside. It is important that you believe yourself, that you trust yourself. This moment calls for self-love and trust, and your self-confidence is beginning to increase already as your eyes begin to softly close. I want you to take a deep, slow breath in, and now release the breath. That's good. Notice the quality of your breath. Does the breath flow into your chest or deeper into your belly? Pay attention to the next few breaths and make sure to follow them right down to your belly. Feel your belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Be open to the idea that you can choose to attract wealth just as easily as you can allow your breath to go in and out. And as you begin to deepen into this trance, it is necessary that you release any tensions in your body. Starting at your right foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the right leg until you're at the knee, just relaxing. And continue to the right hip. Now do the same for the left leg. Starting at your left foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the left leg to the knee, and on until you're at the left hip, just relaxing. Clear any tension in your hips. Let go of your deepest pelvic muscles. You may be clenching tightly and you don't even know it. So just let go. Continue to feel the rise and fall of your belly, and let the heaviness of your arms and shoulders sink down and melt away. Feel the openness in the palms of your hands. Feel the expansive breath in your chest and abdomen. Open your jaw to stretch it, and then release it. Let your eyes sink into your head until they are floating peacefully. Feel the tingling of the hair on your head and the lightness of the air around your face. You are ready now to move deeper inside, to release your inner you, who is wealthy, successful, and confident. I will ask you to open your eyes one more time in a moment. When you close them again, you will sink into a wonderful floating softness, and you will be ready to take a journey. Okay, open your eyes slightly on your next inhale. Now close them on the exhale, and step securely into the most relaxed state of awareness you can imagine. To help you relax deeper, I will lead you on a journey. Listen to the sound of my voice. Listen. Deep down inside. Of course you are. If you feel yourself drifting away at any time, just focus on the sound and vibration of my voice as they enter into your ears. You are doing so well already. You are beginning to relax and attract the wealth you desire with every breath you take. I want you to picture yourself standing at the edge of a lake. And as you look out onto the lake, you see the clear blue sky reflecting on the surface. The water is completely still and calm, and just next to you is a small rowboat. Take a good look around you and notice what you notice. You step into the boat and you push yourself away from the shore. You begin to paddle the boat out into the middle of the lake, and you can feel the muscles of your body working. You can feel your hands and shoulders paddling, and feel your back muscles working hard as you paddle yourself out into the middle of the lake. And you realize that now you are in the center of the lake. Placing the paddle next to you in the boat, you lie down on the bottom of the boat and stare up at the blue sky. All of the exhaustion in your body begins to release. You can feel the boat softly rocking to the movement of your breath. You can feel your body floating like the boat floats on the water. The breeze cools your skin as it passes over you, and you can be more relaxed, be more confident, be more able to attract the wealth you desire by just relaxing. Taking a deep breath in, you enjoy the freshness of the air, your body completely relaxed, and you notice in the sky above you beautiful fluffy clouds, and your body feels as soft as those clouds. And you notice and feel like your body is drifting past the clouds. It feels like you're drifting across the sky. In fact, your body has now become completely weightless as you float effortlessly in the boat, a good floating, a natural floating. Your trance has completely stilled your mind. Take a moment and enjoy the peace you have created, and learn to overcome any doubt or reluctance about your ability to attract wealth. And you now realize that the clouds are much lower and almost directly on top of you. The clouds are fluffy and white and fluffy are the clouds. And you feel and see the clouds entering your lungs as you breathe in. They're light and soft and take you deeper into relaxation. Deep breath after deep breath pulls the soft clouds into your body and takes your body farther and farther into trance until you no longer breathe in the clouds, but rather you have become the clouds. You're soft and light and floating like a cloud. And I don't know if you will forget to remember how difficult you may have found it to attract wealth in the past, or whether you will remember to forget to worry about attracting wealth, and whether you will do one or the other, or even both, now or later, and it really doesn't matter. Because now you can imagine that it's so easy to begin to think about times when money came to you unexpectedly, or you were rewarded with a bonus of some kind. And generous personality makes such a big difference and can be so richly rewarded. As those memories can repeat in your future too, or many times, multiplying your wealth as you contemplate, thinking about, remembering your state of mind. Yes, even before the money came. You know there are so many stories of wealthy people who lost everything and then became wealthy again. And the difference, the only difference, is that they know they can attract money. They made a lot of change, their minds, as you have changed your mind. It's like gold, a gold mine, inside your head, so many times. Think of a time when you felt prosperous. Yes, you can easily recall some times when you had a little windfall. Something extra came your way. You made a healthy profit, and you know how you walked, that little extra swagger and you had the corners of your mouth with a hint of a smile all the time. That's right, you can experience that now, because you know wealth is only a state of mind, and attracting more, and the more attractive you feel inside, the more attractive you appear on the out of financial difficulty. So much can appear. And you can begin to notice that you can so easily think about noticing those things in your life right now that are already working. You have so many things. It's easiest to begin sometimes with thoughts of the friend who makes you laugh the most. That's right. That person who makes you feel so good. So many good memories, many good times together. And you can speculate that you can wonder that you must make that person feel good in some ways too. That's how friendships work. And you give each other so many things, experiences, memories, things you treasure. And treasure can be so valuable. You never know where you will find it, hiding in your mind, in your life, as you begin to allow your thoughts to drift to other things you have perhaps never thought of before. It's fascinating to speculate about how value travels from you and then boomerangs back to you, magnified over and over again. You are a person of value. There is no one else ever like you, like yourself. And when you focus on that unique set of qualities that make you an individual, it's like those times when you say, "I'm enjoying myself." It makes it so much easier for others to enjoy being with you, giving you things, giving you opportunities. Doors open so easily when people like you are the kind of person who naturally attracts money. And it's so easy to be kind, and people remember. Remember, all the money you could ever want exists, and it will all come from other people. Even banks and financial institutions are run by other people. Your value, you're valuable in so many ways. How you do things, help others, say things that make people smile. You're the kind of person that's a kind person. People remember. Wealth is a byproduct of value and confidence. When people feel good about you and what you bring, what you do for the way they feel, they will pay you to be you and bring your uniqueness, your uniqueness. Remember how you feel with more money in your pocket. Recall the swagger, the extra confidence. Now, let your mind imagine, in that special way it does, that you are shopping for something very expensive, something you'd love to own, and you have the money. See it, feel it. Hear yourself saying, "I'll have that one, please." Notice how you walk, how you speak, how you smile, how you feel the pleasure of buying something you thought you might never have owned, and now it's yours. See yourself hand over the money. How do you pay? Cash? Card? Play out the scene in your mind. Feel taking possession of it. Now, as you consider that, realize that reality starts in your mind with a thought. Nothing moves until you've thought it first. That's the great thing. And you can see yourself owning this wonderful thing. It's like a movie in your mind. Bring the images closer. Make the colours brighter. That's right. And notice how the feelings intensify as you make some changes. And now, step into the scene. Step into the you in the scene and see it as if you were there, seeing it through your own eyes, hearing what you hear. And now, it feels so real. You can touch, and touching experiences are so moving. Around in the scene, look at it from every new angle, feeling the freedom of being wealthy, of the happy anticipation of more to come. And you say to yourself, I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. As you say those words in your mind, feel them. Feel the difference it makes inside as you take the true meaning of those words deep, deep down inside. Let them become a part of you. And you can always repeat them again. I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. Feels good. Notice how much money pours into your life, coming in from everywhere, and there's really nothing you need to do. Only you need to be yourself, just being you, and flowing like currency. And remind yourself often, I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. Prosperity is starting to suit you better and better, enriching every day of all the parts of your life as you relax into the expectation of the enjoyment of feeling wealthy. Because the more you feel it, the more you will attract it. And the more you attract, the more attractive you are to more of it. And so you will remember, and again, I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. Remind yourself over and over, because your subconscious loves repetition. As you repeat that affirmation, I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. It becomes part of you, filling you with new confidence, And you know people will pay for the confidence they feel in the value they will get from you, because you value yourself. You are worth more and more than that. You remember to say in your mind, I can always attract more wealth. I value myself. Repeat those words and this process often over the coming 2 or 3 weeks. And as you do, you will start to feel different inside, more prosperous, more attractive to wealth. And as you feel those differences inside, you will start to notice the changes happening outside, because one is a mirror of the other. Reflect on that. But for now, it's time to return to the present moment and to bring with you your new awareness and ability to look forward to attracting wealth to you. So begin to make the journey back. Take a breath deeply into your lungs and once again feel the lightness of the clouds. You see your breath as the clouds flow in and out of you, and remember, you're lying in the boat. And you again recognize the clouds in the sky above you. You can feel the lightness of the clouds, and you can also feel the floating in the boat. You're ready to sit up in the boat and paddle back to shore. And as you paddle back to shore, you will bring with you your new decisions and be unafraid of letting go of any past limitations. You're paddling back to shore with a completely new mindset. See yourself sitting in the boat and paddling happily back to shore. And as you come closer to the edge of the lake, you realize how wonderful your surroundings are. You feel like you're coming home. And it feels good to come home to yourself, doesn't it? As the boat reaches the edge of the lake, you step out and feel the ground under your feet. You know that you are supported by the earth. This boat has carried you into your subconscious, and in your subconscious, you have made great discoveries about how to attract wealth. And now the boat has brought you back, and you stand again on the shoreline of your life. And as you look in the lake in front of you, you realize that it is the mirror of your life. Calm and clear and attractive. With this calm and clear mind, you'll now come back into your body, ready to move on and make your life wealthy in every sense. On the count of 5 to 1, you will leave the shore and come back to your body. 5, feeling strong. 4, feeling confident. 3, feeling attractive. 2, taking a deep breath in. 1, exhaling and opening the eyes. Well done. Hello and welcome. You're listening to a very special hypnosis recording from hypnosislive.com. This audio session will enable you to achieve the money success you desire. It will also help you remove any barriers preventing you from becoming wealthy and prosperous, whether these are conscious or unconscious. After using the session, you will feel free to earn, attract, and accumulate money and wealth. Just imagine being able to achieve financial success, however, wherever you choose. This program was made with you in mind. It was carefully crafted to help you move deeper into your own self and to begin to shed light on the issues you are facing. Be okay with the images and scenery that appear. You already experience trance states regularly throughout your day, such as when you daydream or drift in thought, for example. They are simply a natural way for the mind to rest. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind will attempt to organise itself, clearing out the ideas and thoughts that are no longer beneficial for you, and holding on to the images and impressions that you need to keep yourself moving forward in your natural path of progression. Listen to this recording daily for optimum success. If you have limited time, then listen every second day. Doing this for 21 days in a row will help to bring you profound results, and will probably change your life forever. Please never listen to this while you are handling machinery or driving a vehicle. Refrain from listening while under the influence of drugs, medications, or alcohol. And if you happen to suffer from epilepsy or a psychiatric condition, please consult your physician before proceeding. Okay. Money. What emotions is that word charged with for you? Do you realise that it excites some people and scares others? You should become interested, very interested in your personal relationship with money, because, like all relationships, how you participate in that relationship will make all the difference to how things turn out for you, financially in this case. Unlike other relationships, of course, the other party, that is money, doesn't care how you behave with it. You can master it, or you may allow it to master you, but money itself is completely neutral. People care about money, and they may care about your relationship with it, but money itself doesn't care. When you think about it, money itself doesn't really exist. It's just a concept, an idea that we culturally agree on for a while about what things are worth. In some countries, such as India, as you probably know, it is common practice to haggle over the worth or the value of a thing every day. Rice may cost half what it did yesterday, even from the same seller, depending on your haggling skills. And although most listeners to this audio will live in countries where daily haggling is not common practice, in fact all cultures engage in it, just on a slower and larger scale. Take a look at the graph of any stock to see what I mean. Stocks and shares rise and fall like ocean waves. Those values have changed according to what people have agreed to buy or sell for, even though the process is less obvious than you would witness in the markets of India. You too are a commodity in the eyes of others. What do you consider your worth? Is the money you bring home a true reflection of your inner value? Some people feel they're overpaid. Many complain they're not paid enough. But few people ever consider their worth more than they earn. Your relationship with money and your success with money begins here, with how you value yourself. Can you imagine yourself with a salary 10 times what you earn today? Just try it in your mind for a moment. Add a 0 to whatever your yearly income is, and play with the images that come up as you contemplate earning that amount of money. You can pause the recording if you like. Now, what happens if you add 2 zeros to your income? 100 times more money than you have now. Do you even know how to spend that kind of money? What would be wise investments and what you might stay away from? It's okay not to know, but it may be useful to be aware that you don't know, because as you become more familiar with the way wealthy people think, it becomes so much easier to imagine you're one of them. Imagining yourself successful with money is the key, the beginning to success with money. If you cannot imagine yourself achieving something, You won't attempt it, let alone achieve it. All human achievement begins in the mind. Your mind is capable of imagining anything at all. You will notice as you do so that there will be emotional limits, however. Perhaps you could imagine yourself earning 10 times your present income, but when you tried to multiply it by 100, maybe your mind said, "Who, me?" Now if yours didn't, congratulations. In that case, just keep adding zeros until you reach your limit. There are no wrong answers. You simply are discovering what you personally believe is possible for you, and everyone will be different, and that's fine. So as you let those ideas sink in, keep your eyes closed. I wish you a pleasant journey into your inner space, and I know that you will have a far greater calm and understanding once you have finished this session. You must now find a comfortable position. You can choose to sit back comfortably in a chair or on a sofa, in a recliner or on a bed. Once you have adjusted any restrictions in your clothing and settled into your spot, you can begin to accept the idea of letting go. You are ready now to understand just how easy it can be to accumulate money. You can begin to allow yourself the permission to enter into a hypnotic state. In fact, go ahead, tell yourself. You are giving yourself full permission to let go, knowing how great it is to feel prosperous and financially secure. In your mind, or even out loud, tell yourself, you are safe. You are eager to travel to the depths of your unconscious mind, to discover the relaxed, confident, wealthy, prosperous person inside. It is important that you believe yourself, that you trust yourself. This moment calls for self-love and trust. Your self-confidence in your ability to generate money is beginning to increase already as your eyes begin to softly close. I want you to take a deep, slow breath in, and now release the breath. That's good. Notice the quality of your breath. Does the breath flow into your chest or deeper into your belly? Pay attention to the next few breaths and make sure to follow them right down to your belly. Feel your belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Be open to the idea that you can accumulate wealth and financial prosperity right now by changing how you feel and think just as easily as you can allow your breath to go in and out. As you begin to deepen into this trance, it is necessary that you release any tensions in your body. Starting at your right foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the right leg until you're at the knee, just relaxing. And continue to the right hip. Now do the same for the left leg. Starting at your left foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the left leg to the knee and on until you're at the left hip, just relaxing. Clear any tension in your hips. Let go of your deepest pelvic muscles. You may be clenching tightly and you don't even know it. So just let go. Continue to feel the rise and fall of your belly and let the heaviness of your arms and shoulders sink down and melt away. Feel the openness in the palms of your hands. Feel the expansive breath in your chest and abdomen. Open your jaw to stretch it and then release it. Let your eyes sink into your head until they are floating peacefully. Feel the tingling of the hair on your head and the lightness of the air around your face. You are ready now to move deeper inside, to release your inner you, who is relaxed, wealthy, with ability to attract money and comfortable with wealth at all times. I will ask you to open your eyes one more time in a moment. When you close them again, you will sink into a wonderful floating softness, and you will be ready to take a journey. Okay, open your eyes slightly on your next inhale. Now close them on the exhale, and step securely into the most relaxed state of awareness you can imagine. To help you relax deeper, I will lead you on a journey. Listen to the sound of my voice. Listen deep down inside. Of course you are. If you feel yourself drifting away at any time, just focus on the sound and vibration of my voice as they enter into your ears. You are doing so well already. You're beginning to feel wealthier and start to attract the money you deserve, and at the same time to relax more with every breath you take. Picture yourself standing in front of an elevator. The doors of the elevator open and you look inside. You see that there are 4 buttons all leading down to lower floors. Each one of these floors will take you a level deeper into your unconscious mind. So reach out and push the button that will take you down and watch as the doors close. You feel the elevator moving. Take a good look around you. This is your elevator, and you can see whatever you wish to see. What textures or patterns are the walls made of? How is the quality of the lighting? Can you hear any music playing? Maybe there is a mirror on the wall, a full-length mirror. Who is that person standing there? They look so prosperous and relaxed, so ready for action, so totally wealthy and financially comfortable. Ah, it's you. This is how others could see you. A healthy, wealthy person. A voice announces your arrival. You've reached the first lower level. Take a deep breath in and watch the doors open. You see a room filled with colour. These are the colours that you associate with wealth and prosperity. These are strong colours. Walls, furniture, strong colours. Not everyone likes red. Some people like blue or green or brown or whatever colour you prefer. But the sight of the room makes you glad to be wealthy, glad to be financially secure. The colour makes you feel confident secure in your ability to earn and attract money. But you know that this is not the room where you will stop. So you push the button to go down to the second lower level. As the doors close, you take another deep breath in. Feel yourself sinking deeper into your trance. When you arrive at the second lower floor, the doors open, and in front of you is another room. Movies are playing on screens that are placed around the room, and these movies show you scenes of wealthy or affluent individuals that you admire. Either sex, I'm not fussy. Take a moment to see what movie is playing. Who can you see on the screen? Which lead, which hero or heroine inspires you the most? Just enjoy watching for a while, knowing this is how others can see you when you use your money to good effect. There are also scenes playing of moments in your own life where you felt more prosperous. Take a moment and remember. This room makes you feel more successful, wealthy and prosperous, confident. You feel you're fully prepared to live as a wealthy individual, and proud of it, why not? You press the button for the third lower level and the doors close. As you go down to the third floor, you feel a sense of weightlessness coming over your body. You know full well that you're heading into the furthest depths of your unconscious, don't you? When the elevator stops, you watch for the doors to open. As you wait for the doors to open, you wonder what you will see. You can already sense the feeling of anticipation growing inside, can't you? The sense of anticipation of what it will be like to have so much more money. The doors roll back to reveal a room. The room is completely black and empty. This is the room where you can erase any negative beliefs about yourself. You can leave them all here. This room will absorb all the misinformation you have received from others about what it means to be rich and how wealthy people could, would, or should act. You see, you may have been taught ideas and impressions that really are false. You can choose to change this now or change it later. Your impressions about your own ability to generate income and accumulate wealth have been shaped by your parents, by your culture, and your social interactions throughout your life. This black room will gladly accept all of your misconceptions so that you can let go of every last one. Let the room drain all the things you no longer need from you, so that these ideas won't weigh you down or get in the way of stronger, better impressions about your own ability to attract money and how thinking like a prosperous person should be part of who you are. Take a moment and stare into the blackness of the room. As you do, try to allow your subconscious mind to completely release. Take your time. You press the button that will take you to the bottom floor, and you know that when you reach the bottom you will be completely immersed in your subconscious. The doors close and the elevator moves. You take a deep breath in and you sigh as you exhale. The elevator stops and you're anticipating what you will find. You're ready to make great discoveries in this room, aren't you? The doors open to reveal a completely white room. You know that this is a room that is special, full of possibilities, aren't you? This room represents the space in your mind where all things are possible. This room is the clean slate on which you will write your future, a future in which you have already attained the wealth and level of income you desire, and where you are living with the wonderful changes that have resulted from your efforts to be prosperous and financially independent. As you step into the room and leave the elevator, you are stepping fully and completely into your subconscious mind. Take a moment and allow the room to settle around you. Allow yourself to settle within the room. Feel the depth of your trance. As you begin to notice how you relax, like that, you are going to discover how you make good decisions around matters to do with money especially, because all issues have some uncertainty with them, and there are some risks, and there are some safety nets. You can compare times. Think of a time when you made a decision. It can be about anything. It doesn't need to involve money. You are just discovering your internal way of doing certain things at the moment. That's right, letting go and thinking of a time when you made a decision you were very pleased about. Something that pleased you. That's it. Very good. And notice how you picture that. Notice what comes to mind. Are the pictures in colour? Or in the centre, or more on the left? Or right? Or up? Or... That's right. Notice if there's sound. Let yourself become aware of how loud or quiet it is, or if it's silent in the memory. Do the images move, or do you recall just still images? Notice the emotions you recall as you experience this memory of a good decision. Spend some time on this, a few minutes. There's no rush, I'll wait. You can use the pause button whenever you need some time. That's it. Very good. So now you're going to make some discoveries about how your mind files information about decisions you're not so comfortable with. It's okay. No one's judging you here. We all make decisions we later wish we hadn't, maybe big or small, but this is just for the purpose of discovering how your mind, your unique mind, files information. Relax again. That's right. And allow yourself to think of a time when you made a decision, a choice, you later wished you hadn't. As before, notice what images come to mind. What you're interested to find out is how they differ from the images you had before. Not in content, of course, they will have different scenes in them, but in quality. Where do they seem to be located compared to the others? Are they closer up or further away? What about the colours? Are they dimmer, brighter, or faded? Is there any colour at all? Notice the differences, that's all. Do the same with the sound and all your other senses. Perhaps you remember smells or tastes in one recollection more than the other. Do you notice how this process of discovery makes you take one step back from the experience itself? It is the beginning of mastery. You will become a master of money decisions very quickly. This way. That's right. You are discovering so easily your deeper self. And now you have an internal barometer. You can test this very easily now. Take yourself to a future time, a time when you need to make a decision that involves money. It could be a large amount or something even bigger. You know what's right for you. And as you notice yourself coming to the moment when the decision must be made, you can take that step back. It only takes a moment, and you can check whether the images you see and the experience you are having is closer to the good decision or the less good one. And instantly you have a guidance system within you. Very good. And there is more you can do. Masters of money make plans. Masters of money make decisions, and you're already discovering how you know a good decision when you feel one. Now, decide to identify yourself as a prosperous person. Shift your body, really, as you're listening to these words, into the kind of pose you think a prosperous person would hold. Bring a financially successful, prosperous person to mind as you do this. It can be someone you know, or someone you've heard of or seen on TV, for example. But it must be someone you also like, because you want to be like someone like that. That's right. And as you shift your body to model how you perceive the prosperous person moving, sitting, breathing, acting, those subtle things make all the difference, as you can notice how the shift in feeling happens all by itself as you make those adjustments. As you make those fine adjustments, let your mind recall a time when you needed to make a decision involving money. And you're going to borrow your money hero's ability now. In your mind, imagine you are prosperous, like the person you like. And you can imagine him or her in your mind's eye, and you can allow yourself to play with the idea that he or she was making your decision for you. And as you play with that idea, that funny idea, imagine you can get inside their mind, their body, just moving the way that person moves, feeling what they feel, and thinking what they think. Notice how your level of confidence changes around the money decision. You are a rich and prosperous person now, and you have made many financial decisions, so many, they're bread and butter to you. Allow yourself to discover the ease, the level of ease you now have when considering your money decision. Your confidence about money when you borrow your prosperous hero's physiology, the way they think, the way they move. Right like that. Very good. You have no fear, just some anticipation. Most of the time, you make the right decision about money matters, and money doesn't matter the way it used to. It's all a matter of degree, of confidence. Money comes and comes more and more into your life, flowing so easily, whichever way you look at it. And even when it goes the other way, you can handle it all so well. So many millionaires have made and lost, and made again, their fortunes, because they know from inside, deep within, that they can always attract money. It's a matter of attitude. And you can feel that attitude now from your new perspective. It's all so different. Just amazing how tiny shifts can make such big differences. You know that a ship can alter its course by just a tiny fraction of a degree and arrive thousands of miles from where it was originally headed, and you're heading in the right direction now. Because money success is a question of balance between clear thinking and trusting your judgment. And you feel that, and you know that. At the same time, it's so lovely when it all comes together like that. Step out now of the prosperous hero's body and mind, but keep the physiology of money confidence. Keep the clear way of thinking. Keep the sense of trusting yourself on all matters, especially regarding money and finances. You are the master of your money. See yourself in your prosperous posture. Feel yourself. Hear yourself doing it. That's right. Take action. You just made a great decision. See how that feels so good. And you're almost ready, but there is one more step. You will need to evaluate. Just as your prosperous hero would do, you can borrow their physiology whenever you need to, so you can decide to step back in, or if you feel you have sustained the subtle shifts you made, you can stay as yourself. It's all perfectly fine. That's so comforting, isn't it? Your action will have positive results, or it will have something else to teach you, but it will always be a result. It is impossible to fail. Taking action is the seed of success. If one doesn't flourish, simply plant another. Decide. Decide right now in your mind, as you have committed to taking some action already, how you will evaluate the outcome of your action. How you will choose what is the next right decision. That's right. You're using your logical and your emotional mind in perfect balance now. And when you have evaluated, if it works out as well or better than you planned, then reward yourself in some way. Decide now in advance how you would like that. It could be anything from a holiday to a nice soap or massage, an afternoon with a good book you've been meaning to read, a champagne dinner, or whatever feels good and perfect to you. This is important to do. You need to reinforce what works and reinforce to yourself that you get things right. You need to create good memories and experiences because sometimes things won't work out the way you wanted, and you'll have a wealth of good memories and happy times that you gave yourself because you will reward the good decisions. And with the others, you will ponder and re-engineer because you are resourceful and you are prosperous and successful with money from the inside. That is your identity. It cannot be changed by some outside fluctuation. You are a money success. You are a master of money. You are prosperous. And you live from your passion, your drive, and you inspire others. And your legacy will be so much more than money. And that will be a good life well lived. You expect to prosper. The feeling is expectation, like a child on Christmas Eve. You know you can handle whatever happens in your financial affairs. The feeling is certainty. Think of a time when you felt expectant, like an excited child on Christmas Eve. Very good. Now keep that feeling, and at the same time think of a time when you felt certain about anything, certain of your actions, and mix that with the excited expectation feeling. Let it all blend together inside. And that's right. Take those feelings into a future time and imagine yourself making a money decision, because on money matters, you are now the master that matters in your life. And feel good. Imagine the prosperity. You can handle money, and it serves you. Well done. These words and the powerful experiences you have just had will stay with you long, long after this recording has ended. As you get ready now to re-enter the present moment, you will be bringing back with you the knowledge that you have obtained. You are ready to gain wealth on a daily basis, secure in your prosperity. You must now come back into your physical body and into this moment. And in your physical body, you will be ready and capable to generate income for yourself, and you will be more able to handle money decisions with ease. You are once again standing in the white room and you are facing the elevator. You step into the elevator as the doors open and push the button that will take you back up to the ground floor. As the doors close, you feel yourself beginning to rise, and you know that when you reach the top floor you will be alert and aware. You arrive at the next floor above you. When the doors open, you see the black room. This blackness has absorbed all your negative memories and impressions about what wealth and prosperity are. Wave goodbye to everything you've left behind that no longer serves you. You take a deep breath in, and you let the breath out. The doors close and you continue climbing. The bell sounds again as you arrive at the next floor, and the doors open, and the movie scenes that are playing on the walls show you living your life with financial freedom. The doors close and you're heading to the next level. When the doors open, you see the colours of prosperity. Notice that these colours have changed from the first time you saw them. Your new impressions of how to feel wealthy and prosperous, rich even, have changed the colours through which you see yourself and the world around you. And you feel yourself ready to leave your trance. You take another deep breath in and prepare yourself to wake. Only one floor to go now. As the elevator reaches its final destination, you let the breath out. In front of you, the doors open, and as they do, your eyes. Hello and welcome. You're listening to a very special hypnosis recording from hypnosislive.com. This audio session will enable you to achieve your goals successfully and with confidence. It will also help you remove any barriers preventing you from meeting your personal targets, whether these are conscious or unconscious. After using the session, you will feel able to achieve whatever you set your mind to, with confidence, relaxed in your newfound ability. Just imagine being able to achieve your goals whenever, wherever, with whoever you choose. This program was made with you in mind. It was carefully crafted to help you move deeper into your own self and to begin to shed light on the issues you are facing. This is not meant to be a substitute for counselling or professional help, but rather a companion that is ready to support you whenever you feel you need it. I would like to commend you for taking a step today toward change. You have made a brave choice, and you will be rewarded with greater insight as a result. Please make time in your daily life for reflection and contemplation. If you don't give yourself time and space to grow and mature as an introspective human being, then you are sure to remain in the habits and patterns that have led you toward finding assistance in this hypnosis and NLP session. Let this audio program be a tool in your toolbox, and also collect other tools that will assist you, such as affirmations, positive people around you, healthy eating and living, and stress-reducing exercises like massage, meditation, nature walks, tai chi or yoga. You have now decided to take your life and your goals back into your own hands. Congratulations! Make sure to listen to this recording in the most comfortable location and position that you can. You may choose to use headphones, or just listen in a quiet place. Allow your body to relax and your mind will follow along. You will be entering into a hypnotic or trance-like state. You will remain aware in the deep background of your mind, so there is no need to fear any loss of control, being manipulated, or doing anything that you do not want to do. Be okay with the images and scenery that appear. You already experience trance. You set part of your mind to work coming up with an answer to that, and don't worry, we'll help you answer it in just a few minutes. There's another fundamental issue we should address about your goals, and that is the question of whether you actually have any goals. I know that sounds silly, but many people will say they have goals, when in fact what they really have are some vague wishy-washy hopes. I want to be successful isn't a goal. To me, to be successful might mean languishing on a beach on a tropical island with a few million in the bank, whereas to you, it might mean reducing your golf handicap. Even I want to be rich isn't a goal. There are many people who have become rich who were extremely miserable. Would that be okay? Of course, money doesn't make you miserable, but neither does it make you happy. It's just money, and it really doesn't carry an emotional charge. The great personal development teacher Anthony Robbins once said, "Money won't solve all your problems, but it will allow you to arrive at them in style." And that's about all you can really say about money. A goal has to be measurable. In soccer, either the ball goes over the line into the net or it doesn't. You don't score by arguing with the referee that the ball was somewhere roughly near the goal, do you? Okay, let's add a little sauce. A goal needs to give you a sense of achievement and fulfillment, or it's not worth very much. I might want a cup of tea, really badly, but I'm hardly going to put the flags out when I've achieved getting it. On the other hand, a goal that is so enormous as to be nearly impossible requires more thought and planning than lesser goals, not because they're large, but because you have to bring them into the realm of possibility. When JFK said that men would reach the moon by the end of that decade, he knew that the science and technology existed to make that feasible. Irrespective of how much money he poured into the space program, it would have made no difference had that not been the case. If you're going to shoot for the moon, make sure you've got access to a big team and a lot of resources, including time. So the first thing you need to do is to define your goals. How will you know when you've achieved them? And what is the reason for them in the first place? Don't make it a goal to qualify as a doctor because your father told you to, if what you really want more than anything in the world is to train to be an opera singer. Your goals are for you, and they will shape your life. And your life is not about doing what other people say you should in the hope that that will keep you in their favour. Far too many people have fallen into that trap. But this is the 21st century, not Edwardian England. If life is not fulfilling you, then you might make a living, but you couldn't be said to be having a life. So let's return to that question, that very challenging question, which was, what has stopped you from achieving your goals until now? What answers does your mind come up with? Lack of resources of some kind. Not educated enough. You're the wrong gender, age or colour perhaps. Those would be fairly typical answers, but they're all based on a false premise, a false belief of some kind. So let's unveil that false belief once and for all, because once it's exposed and you see it for what it is, you are more than halfway to freedom. The rest of the journey is a simple matter of replacing it with a new empowering set of beliefs, and you are soon going to experience a simple yet very powerful process that will achieve just that. And that is the goal for this program. To understand the false premise you've blamed your frustration on so far, understand something very basic. Everybody, yes everybody, is driven by the same two forces. We all move towards pleasure, real or imagined, and away from pain, including emotional pain, also real or imagined. Now, it doesn't matter what answers you gave to the challenging question, because somebody, somewhere, has overcome obstacles many times greater than those to achieve incredible feats. The truth is, you've rationalised why you don't have your goals to avoid pain. It may be the pain of disappointment, or that you didn't want to risk ridicule or rejection of some kind. But down there somewhere, there is what has held you back. the fear of pain. On the other side of that equation is the prospect of the pleasure of success, right? It's just that so far the balance has been tipped towards the pain end. Now if we can tip it the other way, you'll be going after your goals and knocking them down like a row of ducks at a fairground rifle range. How do you do that? Well, you shift your focus and you change your state. You can focus on anything, like how many ways things might go wrong if you take a certain path, or how often things have worked out for you and others in your life and throughout history. Which of those do you think is going to make you feel better? What do you think would be more likely to keep you motivated to achieve your goals? And your state is just your state of mind. A good state to be in for goal achievement would be a determined state, wouldn't you agree? So here's how you can lock that, or any state you like, in. The process that follows will teach you how to shift your focus and manage your state at will. Finally, your sense of self-belief and determination will be under your conscious control, instead of in reaction to what you previously thought were random events. The truth is, what you focus on consistently is most likely to show up. So do you think it might be worthwhile learning exactly how you can focus on your own success or your own goals? I'm glad we agree. Here we go. You must now find a comfortable position. You can choose to sit back comfortably in a chair or on a sofa, in a recliner, or on a bed. Once you have adjusted any restrictions in your clothing and settled into your spot, you can begin to accept the idea of letting go. You are ready now to understand just how easy it can be to achieve your goals. Relaxed, both on the inside and where it counts most, on the outside. You can begin to allow yourself the permission to enter into a hypnotic state. In fact, go ahead. Tell yourself you are giving yourself full permission to let go, knowing how great you will feel when you achieve your goals. In your mind, or even out loud, tell yourself, you are safe. You are eager to travel to the depths of your unconscious mind, to discover the relaxed, confident, high-achieving you that's inside. It is important that you believe yourself, that you trust yourself. This moment calls for self-love and trust. And your belief in your ability to achieve is beginning to increase already as your eyes begin to softly close. I want you to take a deep, slow breath in. And now release the breath. That's good. Notice the quality of your breath. Does the breath flow into your chest or deeper into your belly? Pay attention to the next few breaths and make sure to follow them right down to your belly. Feel your belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Be open to the idea that you can achieve your goals by changing how you feel just as easily as you can allow your breath to go in and out. And as you begin to deepen into this trance, it is necessary that you release any tensions in your body. Starting at your right foot, begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the right leg to the knee, just relaxing. And carry on to the right hip. Now do the same for the left leg. Begin to release any muscles that you are still holding on to. Move up the left leg until you're at the hip. Just relaxing. Clear any tension in your hips. Let go of your deepest pelvic muscles. You may be clenching tightly and you don't even know it, so just let go. Continue to feel the rise and fall of your belly, and let the heaviness of your arms and shoulders sink down and melt away. Feel the openness in the palms of your hands. Feel the expansive breath in your chest and abdomen. Open your jaw to stretch it and then release it. Let your eyes sink into your head until they are floating peacefully. Feel the tingling of the hair on your head and the lightness of the air around your face. You are ready now to move deeper inside, to release your inner you, who knows exactly how to achieve your goals, exactly how to do anything you put your mind to. I will ask you to open your eyes one more time in a moment. When you close them again, you will sink into a wonderful floating softness and you will be ready to take a journey. Okay, open your eyes slightly on your next inhale. Now close them on the exhale and step securely into the most relaxed state of awareness you can imagine. To help you relax deeper, I will lead you on a journey. Listen to the sound of my voice. Listen deep down inside. Of course you are. If you feel yourself drifting away at any time, just focus on the sound and vibration of my voice as they enter into your ears. You are doing so well already. You are beginning to relax and feel how much more you can achieve with every breath you take. Picture a ladder in front of you. This is the ladder that will carry you into your trance. Every time you climb up and down the ladder, you will go deeper and deeper into your trance. So begin to climb carefully up the ladder. You can see it clearly, stood tall and straight. When you reach the top, take a deep breath. Then begin to climb down the ladder. As you reach the bottom, you feel very tired. Take a deep breath in and let it out. You can climb up the ladder again. Notice it, standing tall and erect. Feel your body working as you climb. And as you reach the top of the ladder again, take another deep breath in. Feel the tiredness in your body as you're climbing down the ladder. You reach the bottom of the ladder and you feel yourself wanting to rest. But you will climb the ladder 2 more times. And each time that you reach the bottom, you will be deeper and deeper into trance. Go ahead, climb the ladder once more. It's harder to climb this time, isn't it? But sometimes it's good to achieve something. Your legs and arms are struggling to move you up the ladder. You reach the top of the ladder and you take a deep breath in. Your legs feel shaky as you climb back down the ladder. Your hands are tired of gripping onto the rungs of the ladder. When you reach the bottom, you take a deep breath. You're already in your trance and you want to stay here at the bottom of the ladder, but there's one more thing you have to do, and you know that you can achieve it. You know that one more time up and down the ladder will send you deeper into trance, and you wish to go deeper, don't you? Good. Then climb the ladder one last time. And when you reach the top, you take a deep breath in. You know that a deeper still trance is waiting for you at the bottom of the ladder. So you begin to climb down carefully. You're aware of every muscle in your body. When you set foot on the ground, all of your tension is gone, and you are now completely absorbed in your trance. Choose a goal you'd love to achieve, but so far have thought you couldn't. Don't worry about the reasons you think stand in your way. People overcome obstacles and achieve incredible things all the time. The only difference between them and you is their state of mind, their approach. The fastest way to change your state is to use your physiology. If you get up and start to dance, you'll very quickly feel good compared to, say, sitting slumped in a chair. Emotions are energy in motion, and they are created or increased by movement. Now, spend a moment or two considering the emotional state you're in when you think about that deeply desired goal. What do you tell yourself that stops you taking further action? What do you believe that keeps you from going further? And above all, don't adjust or change anything. Notice how you are holding your body as you bring those thoughts and beliefs to mind. Notice how all these elements combine together to give you a feeling, or maybe a mixture of feelings. Without making any adjustments, notice what pictures you make in your mind. Pictures about how things may turn out as you consider pursuing your goal. Notice how bright the colours are. Become aware of how close up or far away the image or images seem to be. Are they still images or moving like clips from a movie? Do you hear sound or silence as you look at these images? How loud or quiet does it seem? Spend some time and discover what else is important to know about how you create this state. This is the state that keeps you from achieving your goals. Notice if there are any other sensations associated with it. Smells, textures. Explore it in every detail. Good. Now for a moment, open your eyes, take a deep breath, and let that go. Stretch. Relax your shoulders. Take another deep breath and release any tension, and as you relax again, gently close your eyes. This time, you have a blank screen in your mind. Now, think of a time when you felt absolutely certain about something, when you knew you could not fail. It doesn't matter what it was about. It could have been cooking a meal for someone special. It could have been getting a job or passing an exam. Or it could be some skill you have, riding a bicycle, swimming, running, knitting. Something you know without question that you can do really well. You cannot fail. Got something? Good. Now, without making any adjustments, notice what you tell yourself that keeps you free to keep going. What do you believe about your ability to achieve that task? Without making any changes, above all, notice how you are holding your body. Notice the differences compared to last time. Check the images you make in your mind as you think about beginning a task you are absolutely certain of achieving. Notice how bright they are. Notice how close or far away they seem compared to last time. Notice if they move, or if you make still pictures. And notice how they differ from the pictures you made before. Do you include sound when you're certain you can achieve something? And if there is sound, how loud or quiet do you make it? Do you include music of some kind? How is this different from the other experience? Spend some time. Notice everything there is to know about how you process something in your mind when you are absolutely certain you can achieve something. Very good. Now imagine you can split the screen in your mind from top to bottom and move those images and the sound and the entire experience of your certainty movie over to the right-hand side of the screen. And on the left side of the screen, bring to mind the previous movie or images with all its qualities. On the right side, you have everything about feeling you can achieve. On the left side, you have the negative feelings about failing to achieve. Now, you're going to slide the movie from left to right, and as you move it across and move it over the centre line, allow it to change its qualities so they exactly match the qualities of the certainty, the success movie. If the pictures on the right are brighter, then allow the images you slide over from left to right to reach the same brightness. If the pictures on the right are closer up, then allow the images you slide over to come to the same brightness. If there's a difference in the soundtrack, make the qualities match. As you do the process, the movie will want to rearrange itself, the events themselves want to change, because your mind will start seeing the possibilities of you achieving your dream. So let that happen. And as that happens, let it happen automatically for a while. Make sure your physiology stays in the state of absolute certainty. If at any point you find yourself in difficulty moving the images from left to right, just adjust your physiology. You may discover that you've slipped a little towards the physiology of doubt and uncertainty once more. That's all. Isn't it comforting to know that your achievements, your entire destiny, can be reshaped by making some slight adjustments to your body and your mind? And your actions will follow, making your achievements possible, your life so much more fulfilling than you have ever thought before now. When the movie has fully moved over and all the qualities are in place, the qualities of absolute certainty, think of a time in the future when, if something had happened like that in the past, you wouldn't have believed you could achieve it. And this time discover what happens instead. Let this play out. Step inside the movie as it rewrites your future from the past. And notice as you do that the only thing you find difficult to achieve is remembering how you used to feel about it. To come back into the present moment, you must leave your trance. You can begin to climb your ladder again at this point. It's the same ladder that brought you into the trance, but now it will bring you out of your trance. Begin to climb up the ladder to the top. When you reach the top of the ladder, you take a deep breath in. You can already feel yourself leaving your trance, can't you? Come down the ladder slowly until you reach the ground. Feel the blood pumping in your body. Take another breath in and climb that ladder one more time. Feel the strength growing within you as you wake up and climb the ladder. When you reach the top, take another deep breath in. You're feeling good about coming out of your trance, aren't you? You are excited for what your future holds. So climb down the ladder and take a deep breath as you reach the ground. Your eyes want to open, but you know you have one more trip up and down the ladder. Will you open your eyes now or at the top? Start to climb the ladder for the last time. When you reach the top, you take a deep breath in and you let it out. When you reach the bottom of the ladder again, your eyes are open. Take a deep breath in and look around the room. You may choose to rest in the position that you are in. You may even choose to sleep if you wish, or you may choose to rise and move about. But know that you have created positive energy. You are most definitely headed in the right direction. Be strong and confident, and know that you have the power to succeed and you have the power to change. You're bound to have great success.